Okay, let's begin at the beginning. Let's start with the Rosh Hashanah. Please open your books to page 2. And that's going to be our opening section, my dear friends. Now, there are going to be a number of Hebrew words that you're going to learn this semester. I'm going to have Hebrew sources and English sources in the book. You don't need to know all the Hebrew sources in Hebrew, but there are words that stand out and are really important because they aren't just Hebrew words. This isn't, Ulpan with Rabbi Hagioff. The Hebrew words, and even the Israelis who speak fluent Hebrew, even they sometimes encounter Hebrew words that they kind of have an idea about, but you're going to see it through a new lens. So every Hebrew word I write on the board, you need to write down in notebooks. You need to write down the translation, but also the meaning, because the meaning and translation aren't always the same. I like questions. I am a questioning class. This is not a race. I want you to leave this semester knowing a lot more than you entered with, and this is information you can use for the rest of your lives. Any questions so far? Amazing. Let's start with one Hebrew word we're going to learn together, and that is the word Shana. Shana. What does the word Shana mean? Year. Very, very good. The word Shana means something else, though. And what is that? Shana. Shana. What does the word Shana mean?
A name.
That's shame. So the word Shana translates as year. Absolutely, there's no doubt about it. But the word Shana also means to repeat. To repeat. Lishnot is to repeat something. For example, we have something called Lechem Mishneh. What's Lechem Mishneh? I'm going to put in parentheses. Lechem Mishneh, same word, means a double loaf. On your tables on Shabbat and Yom Tov, there are two breads. Two breads. They're called Lechem Mishneh. The word Shneh is there as well, because there's a double. There's a double bread. So repeat, double. The 5th book of the Torah is called Devarim. It's also called Mishneh Torah. Mishneh Torah. Devarim is called Mishneh Torah. Mishneh Torah. That's also a book by the Rambam. It's that as well. The word Mishneh Torah means a double. That's why in English, Devarim is called Deuteronomy. From the word duet, it's a double. Why? Why is the 5th book of the Torah called a double? Because many of the laws and ideas that were mentioned before are mentioned again. So Moshe Rabbeinu doubles up. That's why in English it's called Deuteronomy. A duet is two people playing, right? So let's gather this together. We have something called a year, Shana. And we have Mishneh Torah, which is a doubling up. And Lech Mishnah is a double. So it's something about two, or to repeat. One last word. There's another word which kind of sounds like this one, has the same shoresh, root. And it is shinui. A shinui. What, my dear friends, is a shinui? Shinui is to? No. To change. Who said that? Was that you? Yeah, Mika. Very good. To change. Excellent. To change. Okay. So we see how we double-clicked on this word, Shana, and we're like, whoa, there's a lot more happening in this word than I realized. Okay? This is how we study Torah. Most of Rashi's commentary is figuring out what words really actually mean. So let's download this piece together, and everything I'm going to tell you today, this is the introduction to our course, and everything we're going to discuss today is going to revolve around this one idea. And it goes like this. The year repeats itself. You travel through the year. You travel like a train on train tracks, and you travel through it, and you get to the end, and then what do? You start again. You start again. If you were to draw a diagram or a visualization of this year, what would you draw, my dear friends? You see, most people say a circle, and I would have thought a circle too, yeah? But it can't be a circle, can it? Because if it's a circle and you start the year here and then you go boop, 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 all the way through the year, 365 and a bit, you'd end up at the same place you started. That can't be. So it's not a circle. So what is the visual representation of this idea of traveling and starting again? Hannah? A wave? Not really, because that's linear. A wave is linear. Well, kind of actually. It does go up and down, and there are ups and downs in the year, that's true. A triangle. It can't be a square or a triangle because you'd end up in the same place. Squares and triangles do have a lot, actually. We'll do that next semester. We'll talk about Pesach, we'll talk about triangles and 3 points. No. That's next semester. You've got my head thinking now. Not really a triangle, not a square, because well, even those both, you'd end up in the same place. You cannot be in the same place, but you're going to repeat it. Yes. A what? You see, it can't be a line either. You see, if it's a line, like in history books, they draw a line, then I start here, and I'm in a completely different place, which has no relationship to this place, right? So there's all these different points on the year, but all these points are not related to each other, are they, if you think about it? So it can't be like you're moving forward, but there has to be a repetition. Yeah. Spiral. That's what I kind of see it as. It's a spiral. Spiral is this, like a corkscrew, like a multi-layer parking lot. You know what I'm talking about? Now watch carefully. This is very important. This is major ramifications. Let's say you start year one over here. And watch me, right? We're following with me? Can you see my little hand? Here we go. We're going to travel. Boop, 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 boop. And we end up where? Over here. Okay? Now watch carefully. I'm 1 year ahead. This is year one. This is year two. I'm 1 year ahead, but I'm 1 year further. Can you see it? But I'm in the same place because the two connect. And here's year 3 and 4. I'm in the same place, but I'm 1 year ahead. Well, how could that be? Well, I'll give you an example. Let's say I invite you to Times Square for New Year's Eve. Not that I would, because it's a mess. But let's say I did. And then I invite you to Times Square next New Year's Eve. Are we at the same time of year? Yeah. But I'm a year later, but I'm in the same place. Time is like place. You can revisit time, but a year later. So if I go to Times Square a year later, I don't see my previous self, unless I'm really drunk, because it's a year later, but it's the same place. You've got to see time and space as interconnected. Let's write those words down. They're very important. Time is zman, and place is makom. I know we're doing a lot today, but you'll thank me one day when you get married, have kids, and start teaching them, which I now have. Okay, zman, makom. Now check this out. You cannot be in two places at the same time. Your soul can be, interestingly, but your body cannot. You can't be in two times at the same time either. But you can revisit a time like you can revisit a place. It's possible. It's possible. You can't do that with a line, but you can do that with time. You can do that with time. You know, I'll give you the Hebrew expression that all of you have heard before, but you never knew what it meant. But you will today. We're going to write it down. We say, and I'm going to explain. I'm going to take your questions in a second. Let's just download the information, and then we're going to knock it in. There's a famous expression you may have heard of, and the expression is, write it down, sisters. Biyamim hahem bazman hazeh. In those days, at this time. Right? When we talk about the holidays, we say, they happened bayam mehem. They happened in the past. Things happened. Pesach happened in the past. Rosh Hashanah happened in the past. Well, that's a little different. We'll get to that. Shavuot, giving you the Torah, happened in the past. But bezman hazeh, but this is the time. What does that mean? Things happen in the past, but they reappear every single year at the same time, which means we, the Jewish people, are time travelers. We travel through time and we revisit the same time every single year. Which means, if you take this to the next phase, and this is going to be important, that means that I'm able to visit a certain time and grab stuff from that time that was left there from before. Like I can go visit a place once a year, every year, and leave stuff, or someone can leave stuff for me, right? And I can go and grab stuff from that place. And I can leave stuff there for the future. Time is the same. Zman and makom, time and space, are interlinked in Jewish thought. They're not separate. I know this is deep stuff, but it's really important. And it's going to be very important this semester, especially as we are going to talk about various times in the calendar. Various times, zmanim in the calendar. And you're not just like celebrating a holiday, you're revisiting a time that has been revisited hundreds and thousands of times in the past. Yeah.
What's the direct translation of that phrase?
Bayamim hahem, in those days. Events happen in the past. Bayamim means in the days. Hahem, those days. Bazman hazeh, at this time. Zman is time. Hazeh is this. That's an expression saying that we are celebrating events. But we're not just celebrating them, we are reliving those events from the past. Bayamim hahem, at this time. That's what we're doing. You got it?
Wait, say that again?
Sure.
Bayam
Bayamahem means events happened in the past. I'll give an example. Let's do an example. Let's use the classic 15th of Nisan. What happened on the 15th day in the month of Nisan in the Jewish year 4? Good girl. 4-8. Who said that? Who said that? How'd you know that? Well done. Well done. Welcome from Hungary just for that answer. Well done. 2448. Okay. What happened on that date? We left Egypt. Was leaving Egypt a one-off event? No. No, it's not. It happens every year. What does that mean, happens every year? Every year, when we get to this time, we don't go back to Egypt. Thank God for that. Right? You don't have to schlep back. You couldn't even get in nowadays, probably, and I'm saying as a Jew. But you schlep back. We don't go to Egypt, but we go to the time. What is the time? What's the time called? What's the time called? Zman. Good girl, Maya. Zman cherutenu. Write that down. Zman cherutenu. I'm going to translate those words. Don't worry, everything's going to be translated. Zman means the time. Cherutenu, of our freedom. Nu. And then the word means ours. Cherut means freedom. So the name given for Pesach in the Torah is called Zman Cherutenu, the time of our freedom. Why'd you just call it Pesach and everyone else? Right? Look at the Maxwell Haggadah. Pesach, Passover. Why is it called Zman Cherutenu? Because there's a Zman, there's a time of freedom. When? 15th of Nisan. Whoa. What's that got to do with the event? I'll tell you what. The Jewish people got out of Egypt on the 15th of Nisan. Why? Because it's Pesach. That's why we got out. Everyone thinks we celebrate Pesach because the Jewish people left Egypt. It's not that at all. It's the opposite. We left Egypt because it's Pesach. Well, what's Pesach? Zman Cherutenu, freedom time. We're able to access the time. The time, think of it as a door. Think of times, various doors along the way, and the door opens, and you get to walk in. And there's something to be taken from that time. What do you get from Pesach time? Freedom. every single year. Then 49 days later, after leaving Egypt, we got to a time called Shavuot. Right? Sound familiar? Where were we? Har Sinai. What did we get there? Zman Torah Teinu. The time of the Torah. Which means every Shavuot, you can get the Torah just like our ancestors did at Har Sinai. It comes around. Your birthday, interesting enough, the day you were born, which is the day Hashem decided you should enter this world, is also important. That's also happened on a certain date. And lo aleinu, ad mea v'esrim, a person's death happens on a certain day, and we relive that day too, because the neshama reappears. You follow a spiral, but it can't be a circle, because then you see your previous self, and you've got to be really drunk to do that. But it can be a spiral, because you are in the same place, but a year later. Are you with me? Did I lose you at Shalom? Are you still with me? Any questions? Yeah.
You lost me at the point where, like, there was a specific time, like, the reason why Pesach is then is because it's the time of freedom.
Yeah.
But doesn't that get confusing, like, when we're, like, right now we're in exile, and, like, obviously the goal is to get to Mashiach.
Yeah.
But with that...
Okay,
with
Becca,
the
you've asked I get your question. It's a massive question you've asked. It doesn't just mean release from Galut, although it's going to, because when we get next semester to discuss Pesach, it's all about Mashiach coming to end the ultimate exile. So that's encoded inside it, but it means that we are all slaves to stuff, to our own bad ideas, our own bad midot. Every Pesach we get closer to the ultimate freedom and our own personal freedom. Let's put it like that.
More my question is that, like, then when we're not at that spiral point where, like, this Zman is for that, like, in the back of your head you might realize, well, it can't be, like, Mashiach can't come now, so I'm not going to think about it, or, like...
Okay, I got you. Okay, let's put it this way. Very, very good. Let's put it to you like this. If I took you into a room and the lights were off and I said, find a needle, could you find the needle? Yeah, it's harder, right? If I turn the lights on, it's much easier. At certain times of the year, the lights are on. That's the best way to describe it. You're asking a good question. Your question is better than the answer, Becca, no doubt about it. But it just means at certain times, it's a little easier. But you're going to have to do my Mashiach class to get the full vista of that question. Okay, we just jumped over one word. Oh, by the way, why is it called shinui, change? How did that fit into this?
Isn't it shinoi what you do when you don't want to like break Shabbat or something?
That lies. It just means doing a malach in a different way. The word is changed, doing it differently. Yes, it is the same word because they do it differently, but it means to change. I'm going to change the normal way I do things. Why is the word? Are you trying to answer this question?
No, I'm trying to ask a question.
Okay, you could do that too.
Yeah, because
Could you close that door, please? You mind? Thank you so much. Yeah.
if it means to repeat, that's pretty much the opposite of change.
Oh.
So why are they in Torah?
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. You hear the question? If the word means to repeat and the word change, how can it be connected? Because think of it as a journey. I could be on the same track, on the same train, going through the same cycle. I get to my various stops. Starts with Pesach. That's the first. We'll see why. And then I get to Shavuot. And I do the same cycle. I have changed. I'm not the same person. I have changed every year. It should be and it should be a different experience as I get older. It's like you come to class every day, but you're a different person every time you come because you've changed. You're going through the experience. So you can be the same place at the same time and not be the same person. Yeah? Great question. That's really what's happening. You change every year, supposedly. I mean, hopefully. It's like saying, I've been going to the same school for 20 years, right? Or the same job. Is it the same as day one? I hope not. Or the same marriage for 20... What year are we in? 24 years, right? Is it the same? No. But it's the same person, same house, no. But I've changed. So the idea of shinoi, you've answered the question without even knowing it. The answer of change is that every year I change through that experience. That's the idea. Yes, my little great neck friend.
If we left Egypt because it was Pesach, at what point in time did that time...
Wow. What was your first name again? Rachel. That's a great question. She's like, whoa. You're telling me that there's a time called Pesach and a time of freedom, and it always was, It goes right back to creation of the world. And check this out. Hashem created the world with a fabric. There are times in the year that Hashem created this world with those times already lit up. And I'll prove it to you. Avram Avinu, we know, kept Pesach. How did he keep Pesach? We hadn't even got into Egypt, let alone got out. Because he understood, don't ask me how, it's above my pay grade, that there's a time of year called freedom. He didn't know about the Jewish people getting out of Egypt. Maybe he did, maybe he didn't. We don't know. But he was able somehow to tap in and see the fabric of time. And that's why he ate matzah on Pesach. When the angels came to visit him, he gave them ugot matzot. He gave them matzah. That's crazy. But isn't Pesach all about leaving Egypt? No. Pesach's all about a time called freedom. He was able to understand it and knew that the food, the spiritual food that comes with freedom is matzah. Why? We'll do that next semester. But it's going to be true for every holiday. Does that answer your question? So Hashem created the world. By the way, it's going to be a big question when we get to Hanukkah. Because Hanukkah is a new holiday that doesn't appear in the Torah. And Purim next semester. How could that be? So it was a big deal. To create a new Jewish holiday is a big, big deal. And it wasn't easy. Esther and Mordechai had to fight to create the holiday. The Hashmonaim had to fight to create. Actually had to wait. Listen to this. This idea is going to blow your mind. You know how they knew when the holiday was a holiday? They waited 1 year. 1 year later, they're like, yep, it's here again. Isn't that crazy? They waited 1 year, right? They were pushing, it's holiday, and they waited 1 year, like, yep, it's Purim time again, which is Zman of Emunah and Simcha. And Chanukah, it's here again. They had to wait 1 year to see if the time around, the next year, that same time the following year, it's there again. So they actually didn't know immediately. It wasn't so simple. I know. The rabbis felt it. They were great people in those days. I don't know. Okay, one more word we have to download today. Sorry to give you so much on the first class. But we're going to repeat. This is just introduction. We'll do it again and again. I don't have a social life. I could do this all day. I want to talk about this word zman. It's a very unusual word. How do you say time in Hebrew? If I ask you the time, how do I say more? How do you say masha'ah, right? You don't say mazman. No. Muzar, nachon? You go masha'ah. Okay. Zman doesn't just mean what's the hour. The word zman is related to another word which is zimun. What's zimun? Benching. So we use it to bench. Zimun means to prepare. To, what did you say?
Also to call someone.
To call someone. Yeah, zamen. It's to invite someone, to call someone. Yeah, nachon. You do know Hebrew. Very good. Zimun and Zman are connected. Why is the word for time the same as to prepare or to call someone or something? Because the time invites you and calls you and was prepared from creation. Just like Rachel said, from creation, the time is set up and ready and waiting for you to enter it. So we travel through time. We get to various stops along the way, and we arrive and we're like, okay, I'm ready to get it. Get what? Whatever the time is offering you. You get the idea? No. Then now we're going to do that one again. I'm going doubling down. Right now, sister. We said the word for zman, the word for time is zman. But the word zman what does that even mean? It comes from the word zimun. Can you see the same shoresh, same root? Which is to prepare. Why is time the same as prepare or to invite? Because I'm prepared. When we say Bechat Hamazon, I'm preparing you to thank Hashem for the food. That's why you make a zimun. That's where the word comes from. So what happens is the night is like this. Hashem says, I prepared the year for you already. It's all ready. I'm inviting you to that time. I'm inviting you to that time. The time was prepared for you. From when? From creation. I know there's people who've never been in my class before. This is how deep we go. We're going deep this semester. We're going deep dive.
Wait, why is it inviting us? Why is it inviting us?
Because the time invites us to enter into it in order to get what we need from it. And whether that means, this semester it's going to be newness on Rosh Hashanah. Oh, Hashanah, Rosh Hashanah. The word Shana is there. We're going to see that again. Yom Kippur is going to invite us every year for Kapara. Sukkot, we'll see. Shemini Atzeret, which is the highest, the top point. And then Chanukah. Each time invites us in and says, this is what's available. Since when? Since creation. Who's inviting us? Hashem. To get what? Whatever you need. I'm going to add another word. Oh, I'm so sorry. Write them all down. They're going to be in your midterm. The other word. Yes. The year was prepared from creation. Hashem created time. Time was created. Before there was a universe, there was no time. Hashem created something called Zman. Hashem created the physical world, and He created time as well. Time is something. It's not nothing. Okay, another word. Another word. I know I'm giving you a lot, but you'll thank me one day. Possibly. The other word is a word for holiday. This actually is a class in Moadim. From the word Moed. Moed is usually a word, or Moadim in the plural, for holidays. Right? The Moadim. Everyone heard that expression before? Moadim l'simcha, we say. It means a holiday, right? A Jewish holiday. Moadim. But if you know me already, you should know that the word Moed must mean something else. What does the word I know you know from last semester, right? Good girl. I'm pleased you remembered, Maya. What does the word Moed actually mean? It means a meeting place. To meet. It's a meeting place. If you remember, there was actually a physical place called the Ohel Moed. Sound familiar? The meeting tent. Who went there? Moshe went there to meet God, Hashem. That's where the holy ark of the covenant was. And when Moshe Rabbeinu wanted to receive prophecy, he went to the Ohel Moed, the meeting place. Why are Jewish holidays called Moed or Moadim? Because we meet Hashem at various times. We meet Hashem at various times. From the first ever Pesach, we met Hashem, and then every subsequent Pesach, at the first ever Shavuot, same thing, we meet Hashem. These are Moadim. The word Moed means holiday, and that's when you say the word. But it also means a meeting place. So you meet God at various places, like the Mishkan, the temple in Jerusalem, and you meet Hashem in various times. Look at that. You've been with me for the past 40 minutes, and we've already learned so much. It was worth me being here today.
Yeah, you're best.
Baruch Hashem. Okay, any questions on anything we said so far? Let's do a 60-second ADD recap. We said there are certain times of the year. The word for a year is Shana. Shana means to repeat, because the year repeats itself. The dates within them don't repeat themselves, but the year itself repeats. You get to the same time, same place. That's why he said the idea of Bayamim Mehem Bezman Hazeh. I relive events from the past. Bayamim Hahem, in those days. Yamim means days. Hahem, those days. Things happen in the past. But this is the Zman. And we are obsessed with the Zman. We as Jews are obsessed with time, because you travel through time and get to the same time space from the past. That's the word Shana, to repeat. That's the key word of the semester. We said that also there's an idea of change. You're able to change through that experience. The word Shana Shinui, because you're not the same person every single year. I hope. The word for time is also Zman, you see? But Zman Hazeh, Zman means to prepare, because time was prepared this way. There's a fabric of time, a series of doors. So see yourself with me on a train. See the train? And we're all on the train. And we travel through the year. And we get to one stop, Pesach, I grab freedom. 50 days later, I get to another stop, Shavuot, I get the Torah. I then travel until I get to Sukkot. Why it takes 6 months, we'll see. We'll get there as well. And I grab my four species. I sit in the sukkah and I get what they got, which is simcha, happiness. We'll talk about happiness this semester, a major part of Sukkot. And I get emunah, faith. And I keep going. And I get to Hanukkah. And I get 8 days of light and clarity. And then I keep going. And then I get to Purim. And then it all starts again. That's the repeat, but I'm a year later. And then a year later and a year later.
How could you keep doing the same thing over and over?
It's the same thing with different results. It's like praying every day, but I'm a different person. My thoughts are changed. So you can do the same thing every day, and yet you are different, and therefore it may look the same, but it's not the same. Because I'm different. Yeah? Yeah.
Why is that in Jewish context if every religion does that?
They don't.
Like Christmas comes
They do. Oh, very, very good. So, you're right. They will have yearly festivals, but there's no connection. That's the line, yeah? There's no connection between Christmas over there. They're just celebrating an event from the past. But they don't say there's any connection between them. They're like, let's just celebrate this event. Even secular holidays, Thanksgiving, which falls on the 4th Thursday in November. Is there a relationship between this Thanksgiving and that Thanksgiving, the first one in 1776, whatever it was? There's no relationship, right? So the July 4th, rather. There's no relationship, right? We just kind of like celebrate what happened in the past. Every religion, every nation celebrates events from the past. We're saying something much, much deeper. I'm not celebrating. I'm actually in the same place. But I'm not a pilgrim and wherever, and I'm not, in Massachusetts, where, but you are in the same time, and time and space are connected. So we actually get to re-enter the same time and pick up stuff they left for us. By the way, are there bad times in the year?
Tisha B'Av.
Yeah. That means there's negative time energies as well. And it goes right back to the spies. Is that this semester? No, that's next semester. Right. There are times in the year which are negative times. There have to be. If there's good, there's got to be bad. That's why every Tisha B'Av, why am I still mourning? It's like bad stuff happened. Why am I still scared of? Because things happen then, but the energy, the negative time energy, builds up for 3 weeks, and then for 9 days, and then the day itself. There's also bad times. Got to watch those, right? Okay, look at page 2 for an analysis of everything we just discussed. What time does this class finish, by the way?
11:40.
Okay, we'll do a little bit more. My brain is full. Okay, so we said the first concept to clarify the discussion when it comes to holidays, which this is a holidays class, right? So it kind of helps, yeah? Is to figure out the Jewish calendar. They don't commemorate events from the past. That's not what we're doing. We are actually, that's a linear flow. It's not a linear, it's a spiral, right? It's a crystallized spiral. It views times in a cyclical dimension, just as we move through space by walking around or driving or flying, you move through time, right? Time was created and you move through it. Time is static, but you're able to travel through it. Again, we are time travelers. It's a good name for a book one of you is going to write one day. The Jewish Time Travelers. Which may be actually what the aliens are all about. But that's another discussion, not for now. I don't want to freak you out too early. Okay, that's where the word for Zman means prepared, because Hashem prepared these times for us. As the Maharal says, everything has a time and everything has a place. That's why King Solomon says, everything has its season, there's a time for everything. There's nothing that doesn't have a place. Everything in this world lives in a place. And everything in this world lives in a time. Right? You are born at a certain time, not a different time. That's not a coincidence. You were born in a certain place, and not a different place. That's not a coincidence either. Okay? You were born in Israel. Right? You're born in Hungary. I'm born in London. Everyone has a time and place, and both are connected somehow. Okay? Everything has a time. So each festival carries a spiritual gift that is triggered by the time, not the event. The event is just an example. So we celebrate Pesach, right? But we said the time is important. Pesach is just a very clear example, but only one example, a big one, of what the time can give you. You see that? Is that the time? Pesach, see Pesach as a time. There was an event that happened at that time. We left Egypt. But that time happens every year. It just happens to be a great example, and an important example of what the time can do for you. Ne? Nachon? You still with me, or? Okay, just bottom of page 3. Let's just jump to that. You'll see how each holiday, you don't need to memorize this, but we're going to be visiting a few of these. Okay, so first we have Shabbat. Shabbat really isn't a moed, right? It's its own thing, so we're going to just skip that. That needs its own thing. Bottom of page 3. Pesach is the beginning of the Jewish year. Rosh Hashanah is not, and I'm going to show you why. I know we call it the New Year, but there's 4 New Years. We're going to look at Rosh Hashanah, but the real New Year for the Jewish people is Pesach. What we're going to discuss this semester is the New Year for Rosh Hashanah is the New Year for everyone and time. Good girl. Everyone, the entire world. Pesach is the New Year just for the Jewish people because only we left Egypt, right? That's our stuff. That's why we start counting the year from Pesach. We used to count it from Rosh Hashanah, and then it changed when we left Egypt. That's why the first month is Nisan, Iyar, Sivan, Tammuz, right? So we're going to focus on the New Year for the entire world. Rosh Hashanah. We'll see when I say the entire world, I mean every human, every animal, every angel, actually, if you want to be honest about it. Every energy in this world is renewed on Rosh Hashanah. So we're going to see that. We're going to see that this semester.
Is it really bad to celebrate New Year's then?
Oh, that's a great question. Hannah says, then we shouldn't celebrate New Year's, right? Well, you shouldn't celebrate New Year's Eve or New Year's Day for a number of reasons. Number one, that was a day that we, the Jewish people, used to get killed. If you look at what New Year's, Christmas and New Year's is all about, it was a really, really bad time for Jewish people. That's number one. Number two, what actually happened on New Year's? That wasn't originally New Year's. Originally New Year's was March 1st. Let's follow. What happened on Christmas? What happened on Christmas? Supposedly, it never really happened on that day, but what happened? The birth of Jesus. So let's follow. That's 25th of December, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31. 8th day. What's the 8th day? His Brit Milah. That's why actually that was found out. But the New Year actually was March, and I'll prove it to you. What's October? What's Oct meant to be? 8. That was originally the 8th. Now it's the 10th. But there was usually the 8th, right? October, November, December, January, February. February was actually the last month. That's why the leap year appears at the end of February. And March 1st was, for a long time, the beginning of the new year. But they just changed it to fit into the Christian calendar about 400 years ago. It's based upon that. So that's 2 good reasons. Really, you shouldn't celebrate New Year's Eve or New Year's Day. One, it was a really bad time for Jewish people. They literally used to hide in their homes, make sure they wouldn't die at that time. And 2, you're actually celebrating the supposed birth and Brit Milah of, pretty much.
He was Jewish, so what?
He was, but he wasn't a savior. He was just a regular person. Okay, who was crucified, right? As many, many Jews. Jerusalem in those days was full of Jews being crucified. No lack of them. Okay, so Pesach, so follow carefully. Pesach is all about the physical creation of the Jewish people, right? Pesach, we went free physically, and so it's the physical creation of the Jewish people. Shavuot is the spiritual creation of the Jewish people at Har Sinai. Clever? Rosh Hashanah is 6 months later, and that is the examination of life, the new year and examination of life, creation of the world and mankind. Sukkot is the physical survival of the Jewish people. We're going to talk about this semester, the physical survival of the Jewish people. Shmini Atzeret is the spiritual survival of the Jewish people. I'll tell you what Shmini Atzeret, most of you don't know what that is, but we're going to see this semester. And Purim is the physical survival of the Jewish people in exile, in Galut, which is why it's not in the Torah. And Hanukkah is the spiritual survival of the Jewish people, right? That's why we light lights. That's the format of the entire year. Okay? Questions, thoughts, comments? Alrighty. Yeah?
Shouldn't Pesach also be like survival of exile?
No, it's Geula, redemption. It's the first and greatest Geula, redemption, freedom we ever had. We'd ever entered into Israel. We went to Israel 40 years later. So it can't be the ultimate redemption, right? It's all about leaving, not arriving. All right? All right. You know, we did a lot today. Let's stop over there. We'll pick this up next class. And we'll start our Rosh Hashanah examination.